Choosing a school board can feel just overwhelming, right? You're trying to make this huge decision for your child's future, and the questions just start piling up. What if we have to move? Is the curriculum any good? How is this one choice going to affect their college chances? Honestly, these are the kinds of questions that can keep you up at night.
And that is exactly what we are going to tackle today. We're going to demystify the Central Board of Secondary Education. We'll look at what it is, how it really works, and who it's actually for. The goal here is simple: to help you walk away feeling confident and ready to make an informed choice.
Okay, so first things first. CBSE stands for the Central Board of Secondary Education. But here's the key thing to get right away. It's not just the syllabus or a list of subjects. Think of it more like a national framework. CBSE doesn't actually run the schools itself. Instead, it sets the curriculum guidelines, it makes the rules, and it conducts those big, all-important board exams for classes 10 and 12.
You know, a really good way to think about it is like a sports league. If every school is a team, then CBSE sets the league rules. It makes sure everyone is playing the same game, following the same basic plan. And that's true whether your kid is in a school in Mumbai, Delhi, or even in one of the 28 other countries that have CBSE schools.
Okay, so we've got the big picture, but what does this all look like day to day? How does it actually work? Well, it all really boils down to two things: what the students learn and how they're tested on it.
Right. And a huge piece of this puzzle is something called NCERT, the National Council of Educational Research and Training. So while CBSE sets the framework, it's NCERT that provides most of the learning materials, like the textbooks. And this connection is super important. Why? Because it's what creates that consistency across the whole country. Plus, it means the stuff kids learn in school often lines up real with what they'll see on major national competitive exams later on. And when it comes to testing, it's not all about one giant stressful final exam. A student's final grade is actually built up over the entire year. It's a mix of smaller periodic tests and projects, plus those bigger half-yearly or annual exams. So it's a system that's really designed to reward consistent effort all year long.
And it's important to note the board isn't just stuck in the past. It's actually evolving. There's this big push away from just, memorizing facts and spitting them back out. The goal now is to introduce more competency-based questions. These are questions that test how well students can actually apply what they've learned to solve new, real-life problems. It's a shift from what do you know to what can you do with what you know.
Now let's talk grades, because this can throw some people off. For the big board exams, CBSE uses what's called a positional grading system. It might look a little complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Getting an A1, for example, doesn't mean you got a specific percentage, like 95%. It means you scored in the top 1/8 of all the students who passed that subject. So your grade isn't just about your score. It's about how your performance compares to everyone else's across the country.
So, seeing this whole structure, you kind of have to wonder, why? Why build a system like this in the first place? What was the original problem it was trying to solve? And the answer to that question, well, it explains everything about why CBSE is so popular today.
And for that, we have to look back at its history. The board's roots actually go all the way back to 1929, but the really key moment was in 1962 when it was reformed as CBSE. And its mission was crystal clear from day one: to create consistency and make education comparable from one state to another. It was built to solve the huge challenge of having a uniform educational standard in a massive, incredibly diverse country.
And boy, did that vision take off. Today, the CBSE network is just immense. We're talking over 29,000 affiliated schools, not just in India, but in 28 other countries too. That massive scale is directly linked to its single biggest advantage. And here is the absolute game changer for so many modern families: national portability. If your job means you might have to relocate, this consistency is huge. A child can move from one city to another, and while of course there's an adjustment, the core things they're learning stay pretty much the same. That curriculum shock is way less. And for a lot of parents, that stability is priceless. But like I said, the system isn't set in stone. In fact, a really big change is coming, one that's aimed at tackling one of the single biggest stressors in Indian education: the board exams. But as this headline from the Economic Times asks, could it be a case of twice the exams, twice the pressure? So here's what's happening. Starting from the 2025-26 school year, students in Class 10 and 12 will get 2 chances to take their board exams each year. The idea is to take some of that immense,
do-or-die pressure off of a single exam and give students a second shot to really show what they can do.
But of course, a change this big has people talking. On the one hand, the potential benefits are massive, right? Less anxiety for students, a real second chance for improvement, and just more room to breathe. But then there are the potential downsides. People are worried about a heavier workload for teachers. Could some students get a bit complacent knowing they have a backup? And here's a big one. Could it actually make things more stressful if taking the exam twice becomes the new unspoken expectation? It's a real debate.
All right, so we've looked at the history, the nuts and bolts, and even the future of CBSE. Let's bring it all back home and answer the one question that really matters to you. Is this board the right fit for your child?
Well, generally speaking, CBSE is often a really strong choice for a few types of families. First, for sure, are families that move a lot and really need that national portability we talked about. It's also great for students who learn best with a very clear, structured, step-by-step curriculum. And of course, it's a popular choice for students who are aiming for those big national competitive exams, like the JEE for engineering or NEET for medicine, because the syllabus syncs up so well, and it's definitely known for having a strong foundation in science and math subjects.
But, and this is maybe the single most important thing to remember, the board is just the framework. It's the skeleton. It's the school that puts the flesh on the bones. The quality of the teachers, the school's culture, the kind of support they offer students, that's what really truly defines your child's education.
So, as you're looking at schools, try to look past just the board name on the sign. The real question, the one you should be asking, is this: how is this particular school going to use that CBSE framework to build my child's confidence, to spark their curiosity,